Yo, Bryce, how you doing, buddy? Mr. Spieler in the background.
Oh, I'm good.
What are we watching?
Just looking for my
Looks
headset.
old school.
This is like 2014 CrossFit games on in the background here.
Nice. The old
I'm
school
not gonna.
guys.
I don't want to spoil it, but Rich Froning wins.
This is last year winning, right? After that,
Oh, look at
Matt.
Hobart as the
Yeah.
Hobart as an
Struggling,
individual.
though, struggling.
Back in the day, he did really good in one workout. I think it was it double?
Oh, Marcus Philly pulls in.
Was it
sorry.
double?
Sorry, we're
Was it double grace or heavy grace they did that year? And I think Hobart got like top 3 or something. It was pretty good. Anyway, that was his
So
moment of
speaking
glory.
of doing a lot too much work,
He does our programming now, so that's why.
we talked today, or we talked last week, that we were going to do a podcast today on
Yes.
rhabdomyolysis.
Rhabdomyolysis.
What the
even.
fuck is that? So, to some extent, it's a badge of honor for CrossFitters.
Yeah.
It
means
shouldn't
you went
be,
hard.
but it kind of is.
Kind of is.
Like, I've never been to like full out rhabdo where I have to go to the hospital.
Right.
But I've definitely
have.
like pissed not so good before, where you're like, oh yeah, I'm pushing the border of this.
You start pissing and it's a real cloudy.
It's like, oh, that's almost
orangish.
brown. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not good.
Cloudy
So-
and it stinks.
So that said, what is it?
That could also be
what
that
causes it?
Might be gonorrhea.
I know what gonorrhea is caused by. Different story.
But you're pissed though. That's the problem.
So, what's the scoop with it? I know there's about 200,000 cases in the United States every year.
And
of
and
ones that
only
are hospitalized.
199,000 are CrossFit.
Yeah, and they're all from CrossFit.
Yep.
So, as a CrossFit gym, though,
Yeah.
telling people that doing CrossFit's going to get rhabdo is probably not a good way to get people in the door.
It's not good. No.
So, let's talk a bit more about it as far as what is it, and then what causes it, and why is that dumb to get it? Like, why should we not be getting it?
Well, we
tell
don't
me more
want.
about it, buddy.
We could
Tell me more
start there as what it is. It is overexertion, basically, of the muscles. The muscles start to break down, and more importantly, the cell membrane.
So the proteins in your muscles
Yep.
break down into your bloodstream, and then when they hit your kidneys,
Right.
your kidneys don't tolerate it well.
Yep.
So
They
then
can-
it kind of shuts
they-
down your kidneys.
So any workout
simplified.
is going to be not any workout, but you're starting down the road
It's the double
of
grace.
mild rhabdo, is it? Oh, that is what it is. Yeah. So Hobart killed this one. Anyway, any workout can send you down the road of rhabdo, right? Minor.
yeah. You're supposed to break down the
Yeah.
proteins
If
in your
you-
muscles.
you
That's
have
how you tear
DOMs,
them,
right?
is how they get stronger.
Right, delayed onset muscle soreness, like that whole thing. That's the beginning. So you just went too hard and you did too much damage. Normal workout, your kidneys can handle the amount of waste that's dumped into them from the damage of the muscles. And at a certain point, your kidneys, they start to not be able to handle the waste, and then they start failing.
Yeah.
And in general, it's going to be your symptoms will be what, like you said, cloudy or
Cloudy urine.
pissing Coca-Cola. They always say,
Yeah.
but that's not always going to happen. That's
And you typically feel kind of nauseous. You got a headache. You're just kind of feeling dehydrated.
and
not so good.
extreme muscle soreness and swelling usually.
Yeah.
So the swelling and the soreness, if it's extreme soreness and swelling, you're already down the road of a problem. Ideally,
It'll bruise sometimes too. The
yeah,
areas
bruises.
that are damaged.
Ideally, you notice something weird in your urine much before all that severe damage has set in, right? So, but if you're adequately hydrated, you can maybe not have that.
Yeah, you can get away with it a lot to an extent at least.
Yeah.
And then if you notice that you have symptoms of rhabdo, your primary thing to do about it is drink a lot of fluids, specifically water,
and go to a doctor.
and go to a doctor.
Yeah.
But rehydrating is definitely the way to flush out the kidney.
I think
so getting
a
lot
lot
more fluid through.
A lot of people that get it, I think they get it through not one specific workout, but multiple really hard workouts. And usually one movement in specific will do most of the damage, but then you overload. Let's say we do tons of pull-ups. Like last week was a good one, that stupid pull-up workout, which was
You're like 100 pull-ups.
150 pull-ups of
150.
different variations, weighted, strict, and kipping. And it's like, okay, that's a recipe for rhabdo because you're taking a super hard movement with the weighted and then making it easier and easier so you can kind of keep going and basically you're increasing the muscle damage, right? So
that one's a specifically bad one because you're still just focusing on those same muscle groups over and over. So you're not like if you added an assault bike into there, your legs could take some of that away because your legs will try to flush the lactic acid from your arms.
Yeah.
But when it's just focusing on arms,
right. So let's say
really much. Not just arms, but just upper body.
Let's say you crush your arms in that workout, and then the next day we do, I don't know, let's say wall balls, Karen or something, where you crush your legs, right? As opposed to like maybe coming in and doing running, which was probably the next day. Running is going to it's not super damaging unless you're like sprinting, right? Yeah. But if you're doing like, I think we did 800-meter runs after that the next day, that's not going to be the amount of damage that if you did 150 wall balls, you're now going to increase the load on your kidneys like double because those are two destructive workouts, right?
Yeah, your upper body hasn't recovered yet. Yep. Now you crush the lower body, now your whole body's screwed.
And that's how people that are like trained get rhabdo, right? People that are untrained generally can't bring the intensity to get rhabdo. One place that people kind of do it is something like Karen. Let's say somebody brand new comes in. You're like, oh, it's 150 wall balls. They're like, what? I don't know what that is. You're like, oh, don't worry. We're going to give you a 10-pound wall ball. We're going to scale you. Or it's a guy. We're going to give you the 14-pound wall ball. Keep going. They're 4 minutes in, and they're like, I can't. They're not hitting the thing because they just don't have the power or the strength. And you're like, oh, here's a 10-pound wall ball.
Suck it up. You'll be fine.
Yeah. You're like, you're only 50 in. You're good. Don't worry about it. You're barely going to be sore. And they're not even out of breath or whatever. And then you give them a lighter wall ball. They do another 50. Then they're dying again. You're like, oh, here's an 8. Now they've done 150 wall balls. They've just destroyed their legs.
And for them, 150 air squats was maybe not the right choice. So having that extra weight and load in there.
So that's a way you could give like a new person a real problem by overscaling, actually.
And then a good example of rhabdo, which is what made me think about rhabdo recently, was the Karen one or the Annie one the other day.
So let's talk about like who gets rhabdo, right? So there's you said there's what 200,000 cases.
200,000 in the U.S.
Most of it's car accidents.
That's a good point. It is definitely often not caused by fitness.
So car accidents, earthquake victims, and avalanche victims, and CrossFitters. That's the big four. But the other three are probably the most of the cases. So in CrossFit particularly, any high rep small muscle movements, a lot of arms. My sister got it twice from push-ups.
From being so fit.
Yeah, she's so fit because she didn't come in for like 2-3 months. She came in, it was a push-up day, and what happens? She self-scaled herself, right? She started with the few push-ups she could do, went to her knees, and then as it got harder and harder, she just, she went from a regular push-up to a box push-up to knee push-up, and so that.
But she kept the reps going.
Yeah, she kept going way too long. So small muscle groups, just beating the snot out of them. And then one thing in particular, which you're going to bring up, is the Ghd Sit-Up.
Yeah.
Now this, they always caution us about Ghd sit-ups in like all the level 1, level 2,
let's actually
level
back
3.
up just a little bit more.
Go ahead.
So you said that 2/3 or 3/4 of the is actually not from the case of what we're talking about. So that's caused by, in a car accident, someone's muscle actually getting damaged by getting crushed against something, and that leaking the protein out. So that's actually it's an interesting perspective to think that we're almost doing the same thing by tearing the muscle by doing these workouts the way we are.
It's mass damage.
Because, if you were to get hit in a car accident to where your muscle gets ripped, now that ripped muscle, I'm touching my arm while I'm doing that, but as the muscle gets ripped, it actually gets it into the bloodstream.
Right,
and then the most common cause.
And they generally, you'll get, what you can get from exercise-induced rhabdo is compartment syndrome. That's what the swelling turns into compartment syndrome, which then crushes the muscle. There's too much pressure. I don't know if you remember Matt Chan, like 8 years ago or so. He fell off his mountain bike, broke his leg or something, and it swelled on the trail, and he got compartment syndrome. And the way to fix it is they put the length of the muscle, they slice it wide open and let it drain. And he put it, if you want to see what it looks like, go to Matt Chan's Instagram page. It's on there, and it's his whole thigh just busted wide open. You could see everything. It's insane. Wow. And that's compartment syndrome, because otherwise, if you don't take it reduce the swelling. It just crushes the muscle, and then that's all released into your kidneys. It shuts your kidneys down and kills you.
So now on to the GHD. So
GHD
Chris Spieler was
sit-up.
just on the screen behind you.
Yeah.
And a while ago, he had a podcast where he was talking about rhabdo, and he specifically brought up the number one easiest way to get rhabdo as a trained athlete is to do GHD. As a trained athlete is to do GHD Annie. So then 2 or 3 weeks ago, whenever it was, when GHD, a month ago, when GHD Annie comes up on our programming, Ben calls me and he's like, I'm not fucking doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why not, you pansy? It's just 150 GHD sit-ups. Yeah. He's like, Chris Spieler specifically said that this workout will cause rhabdo.
Absolutely.
So he did half the reps.
And 2 people in this gym got rhabdo from that workout.
So, and
last month. And that has nothing to do with, like you, the big thing is that you said trained athletes. So what they always tell you in like the level 1, level 2, all that stuff, or even when you read about it, you're always thinking people that just aren't fit.
Yeah.
That, like, they always bring up the ex-athlete that all of a sudden, because they're used to training at a high intensity, but their body's not ready, so they train at the high intensity and they blow their body up. They talk about, like, military guys coming in, you know, whatever, Marines and
the SEALs
team members, and they come in and they're like, yeah, fucking going after it, and they destroy themselves. So I always thought it was that. Then in the quarterfinals, they had that GHD sit-up workout, and everybody started complaining online, like, "Hey, this is ridiculous. Like, people can get rhabdo." And Castro had a good point. If you qualified for that workout, you should be fit enough not to get rhabdo with however many sit-ups you're gonna do. But not necessarily true. Tommy got it then. Okay, so she did it, and the reason she only did the first 2 rounds of them, which is 110 sit-ups. I don't even know if she got through them. But she was moving so fast at them. Like, I'm pretty good at GHD sit-ups. I don't ever get, I don't get any sort of muscle soreness really from them. Yeah. Maybe my hip flexors, if anything. I did, like, it took me 3 minutes and change to get my 60 done. It took her, she was like 2 minutes, 30 seconds.
Oh, wow.
She's flying. Yeah. So that increased intensity and the stretch that you get.
That extra stretch.
Extra stretch.
And her size is a part of that too, because for her, she's hyperextending a lot more.
Oh yeah, she's hyperextending
what the rest of us are.
Right.
Like, I'm nearly hitting my head on the ground.
Yeah.
She's a long ways up still.
Well, that's a problem with the GHD in general, the way we do it in competitive CrossFit, when people coming into the gym and they're like, oh, I'm trying to hit this standard of touching the floor, that's stupid. The correct GHD sit-up.
And it makes sense for me because I'm so close to the floor already.
Yeah.
But for Tommy, probably not the right choice.
Not the right choice.
Because now she's hyperextending.
She's hyperextending the back, which isn't good for your back, and it's not the point of the movement. The movement is come down pretty much a straight line from your knee, hip, and shoulder and snap it back forward, right? So that extra extension is, I believe, what does it, is because we're just not used to extending that much backwards. Especially like me, I'm pretty slouchy, so Tommy's kind of slouchy. So
she's not going to like that you said that.
Even normally, her shoulders aren't, like, she's not at full extension. She's already shortened. Now you're going to full extension and then some. You're really ripping those muscles apart. And then, so the last time we did GHD Annie, like I said, a month ago, 2 people got it.
So the other person that got it,
Louis. So
Louis just shouldn't have done the full amount of reps, right?
Well, here's the thing. We had done him a couple weeks earlier.
Okay.
And he was super sore for like 3 or 4 days. And so we gave the caveat to everybody. If you've never done them before, do no more than like 60 or so. If you've done more than 75 at some point in your life in a day, maybe go up to 100, something like that. If you're fine with 100, just go try to 150, see what happens, right? That's not that big a stretch. So now he had done them, and he's a pretty competitive guy, so he did him, no problem. And that's the thing. You're not going to feel anything after the workout.
Until after, yeah.
Yeah, it's days later. The problem is the next day was 9/11.
Yes.
So this was September 10th. September 11th, we did a rope climb, heavy thruster WOD. So rope climb is abs too, right?
Oh yeah. And full extension too, because you're going from hanging all the way to
full extension,
stretching up.
right?
Very
Exactly.
similar motion in a weird way.
So now your muscles maybe are starting to heal, and then you rip them back open again, and then some, right? Because now they're tender, they're ready. Then he and I did a half an hour on the Concept 2 ski erg,
which is all core.
which is all extension. The more you extend, the better you get. And we went pretty hard, and so again,
That's what finished it.
It wasn't the one workout. It was bang, 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 3 workouts in less than 24 hours. That's the other thing. We're working out at night on Friday. Annie working out at 9 a.m. for the other 2. It's 15, 16 hours. You did some serious damage. And then I think he went to the hospital on Monday, and he was in the hospital for 4 days. Now the other one. So this is where
And even for yourself, though, on Sunday, I was talking to you.
I had trouble walking.
And you were saying you were really, really sore. Whereas then I did it on Friday as well.
It's my hip flexors.
But then on Saturday, I did what CrossFit programmed.
Right. Yeah.
And it had a lot of running in it.
Right.
I don't remember what else was in the WOD, but it was a totally different workout
Yeah,
than what you guys did.
Yeah, it wasn't a 9/11 WOD. That's why we didn't do it. But
And the workout that they programmed, actually, I wasn't sore at all. I didn't have
sense.
sore abs or anything.
They're smart the way they program. They definitely understand that. Where we did a 9/11 WOD, so it was like
Yeah.
But the other person that got it, and he didn't realize it till a week and a half later, because he had a blood test.
Oh.
And he had a blood test just to check his levels and stuff. And they're like, "Hey, so what happens when you do have rhabdo is you go to the doctor. The first thing they do is a blood test. They check is it CK level? CK? It's potassium, your potassium or creatine phosphate in your blood, whatever that's called.
Your myoglobin?
Yeah, it's myoglobin and potassium that are released that fuck you up. So they test that, and so JT a week and change after that workout, and he was complaining about a lot of he skipped.
But he whines a lot.
He skipped like 3 days that week.
He's kind of a whiny bitch.
But he was here, but he didn't do the workout, which is rare for him. He usually will jump in for anything.
If he's going to be here, he'll do it.
Yeah. And he actually took like 3 days. He's just like, he's like, I can't stand up,
Back to him being a whiny bitch.
Yeah, he's whiny. So he got his blood test, and it was still like your normal level is like, I don't even remember, like 70
something,
like between 40 and 70, I think, and he was like 900 a week and a half later, or 9,000, some ridiculous number. Louis was like in the 30,000s when he went to the hospital. So not a good thing. And what the recovery is, and this is why you don't want it. Like the recovery, basically you go to the hospital, they're going to give you IV bags.
Yeah, they're
again,
gonna pump you full of
hydrate,
fluids.
right? Hydrate, make sure it's not getting worse and that your kidneys are still online. They're just going to test you and hydrate you.
Worst case scenario, dialysis.
Yeah, that is
get
not
the
quite the
kidneys
worst
going
case
again.
scenario, but it is
Dying,
really bad case scenario. So assuming you don't have to have dialysis, all they're going to do is give you
Fluids,
pump you
flush
full of fluids. So, but there's about a 2-month recovery rate where the first 3 weeks you're not even supposed to exercise. 3 or 4 weeks, like don't even think about it, because you need it to all heal, and you need to let your kidneys recover and get back to normal levels, and then you have to slowly get back. Like it will take you.
Did JT wait for 2 months after he had his blood tips?
I don't know. He's not here.
2 minutes.
Yeah, 2 minutes. But yeah, so I know Tommy took a couple, roughly about 2 months, maybe a little over 2 months to get back to where she was the day it happened.
So she still worked out, but kept it all at a different level.
She took a few weeks off, but just kind of went to like just slow stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean,
we're not going
all
to
our
get
stuff was slow. Ouch.
We're not going to get rhabdo from the workout we just did, especially you, because you lost again.
Ouch.
This is a recurring theme on the podcast.
So today's workout, we had to row for 20 pulls and then do 15 wall balls and then back and forth until we achieved the total of 2,000 meters. And I took the approach of pulling faster.
Yep.
With the thought that I could do
slow,
the extra...
Slow, but
still
faster.
Slow, but faster. With the thought that I could do the extra 15 wall balls and it wouldn't affect my score. And in the end, Bryce beat me by like...
30 seconds.
30 seconds?
Which was
one
round of wall
that.
balls.
So in the end, I should have been slower on my pulls, but I just thought that my pulls were aggressive enough that I'd be okay. Turns out not. I was actually surprised when I saw him get off the rower because I assumed he had to go back up for another set.
Nope. Gangster.
But he cheated.
Time of the day, bitches. It'll be beaten later. Anyway.
So I guess on that note, don't get rhabdo and keep CrossFitting.
Don't do it.
Peace.
Peace.